How you doing, subscribers? This is Harper. I've been out jogging today. It's the holiday. Happy holiday to you. First, thank you guys for joining me. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe to my channel. I look forward to you in the comment section and talking and everything. And first, I give honor and I give respect to Yvette Cornell and people like that, and Tone Talks, Sandy Darity, for what we're doing here as a group. And what we have come into is the connection of unity to zero into a situation. We want to zero into what we need as a people and what has happened to us as a people in terms of us in the shape that we're in. We want to zero into the positionality of who we are and how we got positioned. We don't want to just take it as something low and form and as an okie doke, because that's not what it is. We want to look at the word orderly. We want to look at the situation orderly. Something that's neatly and methodically arranged, whether it be for your good or for your wrong. It doesn't matter. We want to look at the situation. And first and foremost, any group or any family is a unit, and they have to take care of each other. A family does. When you come into your house as a family, you have to take care of your kids. You got to pay the bills. You don't want people not to have something because they're not being normal. They're not living normal. And the longer they're without, say if you walk in the house and longer somebody without lights or gas, after a while they're going to be a little abnormal. They're going to be abnormal. They're not going to be like normal people. They're not going to be like the neighbors who do have lights and gas and water. So that's sort of similar, actually, really similar to ADOS. That's similar to how we deal with life on the level scale of what we've been positioned and forced to do throughout the denial and neglect and all of the history of what happened to us as a people. And so basically we have to keep zeroing in so we can unpack all of this, so we can rectify in terms of what needs to happen. And this is what we're doing right now. This is what we are doing, and this is why I'm here. And now I've been doing commentary because I'm a person that's very interested in politics and government and communications. I'm self-educating. I'm doing a lot of stuff. I'm, even making a space in my home where I can educate myself. See, I have a home office here, so I have to work. I have to do things. I live an ADOS life. I have to do things. I'm up against things. And I have to pay bills, and I pay bills that are sometimes a little higher than others because I want a comfortable environment for my own safety and for my family and things of that nature. So this is what we have to do outside of the camera. And then I have to do the advocacy in terms of community, getting other people on an agenda or things that will work for them. By all means necessary, nonviolent. We just need to be sharpened in terms of what we zero into in terms of knowledge, entertained by it, and politics. We need to do politics. We really do. So there's a lot on our scale when we deal, because we have to pay our bills. We don't have generational wealth, or we're not willed into an inheritance that we should be. So therefore we can actually work on something and for the greater good and be a more powerful engine in terms of community. So we have to actually we were let loose from slavery in a physical form as a people through chattel slavery. Somebody whooping you on your back telling you to work. We were let go from that. But we were let go to be enslaved economically. You say you're free from slavery, but in what sense are you free when you've been let go, but you have no tangibles or tools to be in the environment which you were enslaved? So you're not really free. So you can go work for them, or you can go work for the slave traders, or so forth, the people who oppress you in a humanitarian way. You can do that, or you can sharecrop is what they did, and they didn't get paid enough to even eat. So that's not really free from slavery. You're free in a sense of being brutalized, so to speak, and then you wasn't free from that. That was just a course of a step toward freedom. That's not being free. Now the laws have been written up that you should have first-class citizenship, and you should be welcome into a free zone in terms of having tangibles to survive in the environment which you provided willingly and unwillingly and unknowingly. You provided you gave the sacrifice, blood sacrifice. You ate that failure to bring wealth to a nation. of people. Slavery was an institution. I don't think a lot of folks know, black folks especially, what slavery really was. And so it gained wealth. And now, today, we're up against the wealth of slavery, which is generational wealth, which they used to build empire and facility that we were not taking a part in, only in the bottom feeder status, where we can become workers and go to college and get a job and work for the bank when the bank owed the government throughout the institution of slavery. Like Chase Morgan. They insured slaves, but we don't see none of that money. We don't see none of the wealth of protected class citizenship. We did not get our inheritance. We did not get our 40 acres and a mule. And so that alone put us in a space where we are backtracking. Now we can't keep up with what's going on. We're constantly being brutalized, constantly being dealt with the wrong way throughout marching, the vote, all that kind of stuff. And then now we become a docile people where we practice religion in terms of our freedom. And other people got in different religions and stuff. And blacks needed to do something and to find their blackness in the positive light. So we did that. And then now, as a docile people, we were affected and furthermore abused throughout conspiracy. Like the insertion of drugs in the community was a project by the CIA. Black people wasn't really considered to be a respectful people. We were supposed to be slaves and a non-relevant person, non-relevant existence, just used or whatever. And now that we were freed, we still were under brutalization. People were hung, people were burned alive in Alabama, everywhere. And so there was a big thing with that during Martin Luther King Jr.'s regime, and he was also assassinated. So what I'm saying is that we were not freed necessarily as slaves. We went to another level, so we're still in an economic form of slavery, almost like a feudalism. And this is what our leaders and thought leaders are talking about, and all of us are gathering about. We have to have a conversation, and that's why Yvette Cornell and Antonio Moore, Sandy Darity, even Tariq Nasheed, all of us out there, I mean everybody, even some of my constituents, like in California, we got a young man that's doing the work on the ground, and him and his wife and family with the ADOS channel. I mean, this is very necessary, what we're doing. We got tone talks, pulling people apart. There's his peers, like Jay-Z, I'm not Jay-Z, but like T.I. and Charlamagne. You're having a conversation with the president and the Congressional Black Caucus about opportunity zone. That's a rich man's conversation. So the real problem is being overlooked. Now that may be a progressive idea, and that may be, we appreciate that. However, we have to zero into what really happens there, and is it protected? And this is a rich man conversation that you're having. It's a community conversation, but we have to remember we are all a unit. And everybody who's a icon or a millionaire does not mean they're a politician and that they know how the laws in terms of politics. They don't know the laws in terms of government. So that just because you have been a success in terms of yourself does not mean you know how to engineer a community in terms of wealth. So that's why we need each other. We need each other in terms of hierarchy of what's going on. Not just, so that's what we're doing. And we got to sharpen. We really have to sharpen. Because the descendants of slavery, which I myself have experienced a lot, I'm ADOS. I have an ADOS lifestyle. A $300 problem with one of my vehicles could cause me a lot if I'm not smart and I don't have God on my side because I'm ADOS. My cousin is the first African-American mayor where I come from as a child. And it's in small town Mississippi. And because she's ADOS and she started exposing, she stopped writing checks for people that were on her her panel or what have you, and working around their secretaries and city clerks and the board of aldermen. They were taking money to themselves that they used and got in drug busts and stuff. So she stopped signing the checks because she didn't want to be a part of it. Well, they started pulling her apart and making her look like a criminal. And then they took 75% of her pay, and she had to sue them and stuff because she's ADOS. She ran her campaign as an independent because, for one, neither side belongs to us. We can take on one side, Republican or Democrat, but neither party was made for us. We were not considered people. So we were not ever zeroed into in terms of what we need. So neither party was made for us. So we have to understand that too. It's not to say you can't vote Republican or you can't vote Democrat. Because I know a lot of people, I stopped voting Democrat because I'm tired of the benign and neglect. But I am an independent. I go where the agenda is going to lead me for the greater good in terms of my family and my community. I have to do it like that. And we have to do it. I believe we all have to do it like that. But what I want to say is that we have to understand the feudalism that we're locked in. When you're a freedom man from something, according to how he was enslaved is how you should free him. You wasn't in just a physical form of slavery. You were also kept for economics and financial gain. So when you're freed and these people have gotten economic and financial gain from you, and you don't have the power or the tools or tangibles to walk through the gate to actually reign in freedom, then you're still in an economic form of slavery. That's why they had sharecroppers. People were still enslaved. You see? That's why they did. So this is what we're talking about. And that's why they built facility and you're working and you're not being able to pay your rent with the money you get and minimum wage. The minimum I can pay you. Because we went unprotected in terms of laws. So this is what we're going to get into as we go on in discussion. And, you know, I'm Harper with Community First, and I like to keep engaging you. I'm reading my books now, and I'm going to follow Yvette Cornell and read the books as she's my sister and a constituent in the community. Everybody, we love each other. We need to be in love, and we need to stick together as a unit. We have to till we get these resolved. That's why we need reparations, because of how we've been placed. And other groups have not had to really eat the failure. We just kept going into a downward spiral as blacks. I don't know why. Whether we got Irish in our blood or what. We don't have a white face, and we not white. So we kind of like didn't get to be accepted in that class. What America says is America. So we're here, but we have to realize that the freedom that we think we're in, it's not the freedom that America, that you can access America, or the benefits and the wealth of America. You may be free from a physical form to do what? To be fooled, to be used. A lot of people are made, and degenerates are formed from their talents, and we led the wrong story, and we don't see our community in an elegant sense, in a sense of class or a sense of sophistication, because we don't have the access to that type of lifestyle as a collective group. So other people that are black that have money have been degenerates and all kinds of stuff. We've been a docile people. We were manipulated. No need to be mad at each other. It just happened. And we have to rectify that. We came from the institution of slavery in this country. And we have to pay attention and rectify. I just want to let y'all know that we headed that way, and follow ADOS and follow reparation stories and everything, and pay attention to politicians, because a lot of politicians that want to come into office is not people that we should revere as leaders. They don't have a moral compass in terms of government. And we have introduced a moral compass to the government. As people who fought for laws and stuff like that, we introduced the moral compass. We introduced that. We went against the humanitarian crime and the rights of people. We even got the Immigration Act through here in 1965, and then it went against us. But we did that. They don't even know, their children, nothing know the history of who we are. The history of who we are and what we've done has been kept away from us, and that was done for a reason. So that we cannot power up an inch into ourselves. The wealth was kept away from us. That the fact that they had generational wealth and wealth from having slaves, that was kept away. We never got any inheritance, but every other group has reparations, except for us, the slave descendants. It's for a reason. So, you know, now they're saying crazy stuff like welfare is reparations, or we don't deserve it. How can you tell a black person that was suffering as a slave descendant what they deserve, and that we get welfare? No, you get welfare. Because you got freedom from us, a people, docile people that were formed, brutalized to do work for you so you can gain wealth. And now you have generational wealth. And you are considered a first-class citizen where you have the opportunity. Because you are a power source that was over in brutalization of a people and their humanitarian rights. And so now, white people, other people in this country did not go to college to get their money. We think we can go to college and be them and have a graduation. No, we got to pay back tuitions that they only can afford, and they didn't get that money. The generational wealth did not come from them going to institutions like college. They came from the exchanging of slaves. And so it just stayed in their family and just mounted up and mounted up and mounted up. And that's what we're up against. And we look forward to correcting in our reparations. But I say cut the check and put it in the right spaces. So because we in this lifestyle are experiencing a hardship right now. And they built facility and now we help running their engines for a pay. And they try to keep us at minimum wage. That's not a way a person can access any comfortability for their children or family. And welfare doesn't do it either. The real welfare is what they got, like bailouts and stuff. That's welfare. That's aid. They give other countries welfare and aid. This little stuff you get on SNAP benefits and all that stuff, it may help you along the way, but it's not going to help you build facility. It's not going to help you gain anything. You barely can buy a car if you're on that kind of welfare. You can just pay your rent and that's it. So, and you can't do that. If you don't hurry up and do it right then you can't even do that. So everything over here showing except our rib cage about what we experience in terms of being black and coming from the chattel slavery experience. So we just need to rectify and not really care about what other people think, but we need to pressure the truths and we need to pull everybody apart in terms for the greater good. And I appreciate you guys out there watching me. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please do. I will come back with more commentary, and I'll come back with more fire and more passion. Right now, I'm just kind of like chilling, and I want you guys to know that I'm still here, ADOS, they're going forward, and cut the check. Thank you for joining me.